Hi, Booktube. So apologies up front for this being quick and wobbly, but Daniel at Guilty Feet tagged me in his hysterical new tag, Skip To My Loo, about do we read in the loo or the bathroom? And I'm about to go away for a few days to see Tilly, my daughter, Tilly of Tilly Shelf. And so if I don't do this now, it won't get done at all. So here's the impromptu version of this tag. And first question was, do you read in the loo or the bathroom? Well, I grew up in a house where everyone read in the loo. It never crossed my mind that people didn't read in the loo. I think probably it was my mother. I was one of 7 children, and one way to get a bit of peace and quiet in the house was to go and hide in the loo and read. And I think, as I say, my mother probably used it. I don't know if you've ever read. There's a lovely children's book about a family of elephants, I think it is, and Mrs. Large in this book wants to get 5 minutes peace, and so she goes to have a bath and reads in the bath, and all the children keep popping in and interrupting her. So I think most parents would identify with that, and reading in the loo is one way to get 5 minutes peace, isn't it? So yes, I always have. Is that shameful? I don't think so. I also used to read a lot in the bath because I used to, again, it was about getting a bit of time to myself and going and lying in a bath and putting your feet up. And I used to refill it with hot water at intervals to spin it out. It was like a weekend treat when I was a hassled young mother. I don't really do that anymore, not that I wouldn't. And I did deliberately choose a waterproof Kindle so that I could read in the bath. But because mostly these days I read, as I say, if paper books are often library books, and I always feel it's a bit risky to read those in the bath, isn't it? What if you dropped it in? I suppose you just have to replace it. So that's yes, I do both, but mostly only reading on the loo these days. And question number 2 was what format do you read in the loo or feel is suitable, and what sort of books? Now, I used to have sort of books in the loo that were loo books, if that makes sense. Like collections or piles of magazines, or the kind of books that you dip in and out of. But I don't anymore because of the Kindle. I always have an ebook on my phone or on the go on the Kindle. So generally, I'm going to carry that into the loo rather than a paper book. Not that I won't carry a paper book, and that's probably relatively unhygienic. Whereas a phone or a Kindle you can just wipe off if you feel you need to. But yes, I'm much more likely now to just read whatever I'm currently reading. Put it that way. Then. So yeah, that's the format, and that's. But anything, I'll read anything in the loo. To be honest, doesn't matter what. There's no specific loo suitable reading, I don't think. Then it asks you to think of loo or bathroom related books to mention. Now, the one that two spring to mind. The one that I associate with bathrooms, and this is a bit strange, is Hanya Yanagihara's A Little Life, because one of my grumbles about that book is that I felt like, too many times in that book, it was like another set of shiny white bathroom tiles with blood on them. That sounds really heartless and callous, but it almost like I felt like I became inured to the shock value of that because it was repeated so often in the book. Does that sound reasonable? I know lots of people really, really love that book, and it tipped the wrong way for me, that one. The other one that springs to mind, though, is a scene I just read in Don Quixote where there's no bathroom involved, but there should have been, because poor old Sancho Panza is too scared to move away from Don Quixote, so he ends up pooing on the spot. So take that, Cervantes. And the final bit of the tag is to show you my bathroom and whatever I've got, reading matter I've got in it. So I'm going to do that. I don't know if this is going to work, but I hope it will. So here is my rather untidy bathroom. There's decorating things because we just repainted it. And here's the books. These are the books that I have in the bathroom. Just two now, because I don't sort of have lots of bathroom books anymore. And but this is the sort of book that you would only read in the loo, isn't it? There'd be no reason to read a book like that otherwise. There we go. I'm not going to tag anyone specific because it's too embarrassing, but please do this tag. I'd love to know if you're a loo and bathroom reader, and you can have a laugh too.